Hey everyone, I wanted to talk to you all about being a prime versus being a sub. As you know, I started off as, or those who don't know, I started off as a prime, and just here recently I have been a subcontractor, and there is a significant difference between the two. So I wanted to talk to you about that after the intro. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Here on the Sheenapreneur channel, I share information about government contracting, veteran business content, and other business tips. So when it comes to being a prime contractor, for those who don't know my story, I started off as a prime, and the reason why I wanted to be a prime is because of my set-aside certifications. I was SDVOSB, I still am an SDVOSB, which is a certified service-disabled veteran-owned small business, a woman-owned small business, and of course I would qualify for any local or corporate minority-owned business enterprise certifications or any disadvantaged business set-asides. So with that, I felt like I held all the cards. I was not going to be a subcontractor. I didn't want to be a subcontractor because I want to get my money straight from the agency, straight from the source. So being a prime contractor is a great way to get most of your experience in government contracting, because typically you are the person who is going to be writing the contract. You're the one that's getting your money from the agency. You're the one who is communicating directly with the agency, whether it's GSA, Veterans Affairs, Department of Defense, or anything like that. So it's a really good way to get your experience on how to communicate with the different agencies, but you are also bearing the responsibility of all the finances. So when it comes to being a prime, I mentioned in a previous video about what I've learned in my 6 years of government contracting. Being a prime, you're holding all of the responsibility of the finance. So if you're in an industry where you need to manage payroll or you need to pay employees like a staffing agency, it's really challenging to manage payroll when you don't have the income coming in yet from the agency, from the federal agency or a local agency. So a lot of people will start off as subcontractors, which the definition essentially of a subcontractor is you are working underneath someone else. So there are many ways to get to the same amount of money, millions of dollars, with government contracting being a sub. You can be a sub throughout your entire tenure in the government contracting space, or you can do a mixture of both, being a sub and being a prime. At this time, compared to when I first started, I don't mind being either as long as the money makes sense. So right now I have several prime contracts, and I also have a couple of subcontracts. And as long as the money makes sense, I would encourage anyone to go after either one of those. That goes back to building relationships and building your network, so you're able to either be a prime or a sub. If you have something coming up that you need help on, then you can find subs to work under you to make the job a lot easier. So all you have to do really essentially is submit the invoice and make sure that the contract is running smoothly. And then on the other side of that, building your network so you can be a subcontractor for a prime. And typically with that, when you're a subcontractor, you will kind of get paid earlier. With that, it depends on how good the prime is. So for example, if you're in a contract as a subcontractor and the agency is only paying either once a month, or they pay late, or they are one and done, so you don't get paid to the end of the contract, say 60 days. So usually the prime contractor is going to try to pay you a deposit or pay you throughout this time, so you're not just completely waiting on when you're going to get paid by the agency, versus if you're a subcontractor, you're getting paid by your prime. Typically the prime is willing to wait for the agency to pay them and pay you first, even if they haven't gotten paid. It just really depends on how much you actually get paid on this contract. If it's something smaller, like in under $10,000, typically most primes will go ahead and pay their subs, because the job is gonna usually be just a few days or a week or whatever the case may be, and they go ahead and pay you. Versus if you were to get that contract by yourself as a prime, even if it's $10,000 or under, you're waiting 30 days to get paid. So being a prime versus being a sub is really just a personal preference. I would say always make yourself available for both, as long as the money makes sense, as long as the contract makes sense, and as long as you have a clear understanding with, if you're a subcontractor, you have a clear understanding with your prime, what the payment terms are, and then also what the payment terms are with the government agency that you're going to be working with, or corporate agency that you're going to be working with. A lot of times, actually, corporate agencies may not give you a good payment term documentation. So you also have to make sure that you know what that looks like with their accounts payable department. Get some education on who their accounts payable department is, because they become your best friend when when your invoices are late and you're trying to figure out where's your money, why haven't you gotten paid for this certain thing. And that's really on the federal, local, and corporate side, whether you're a prime, well, really if you're a prime. So when it comes to being that, as a prime, that's where your certifications matter. As a sub, not so much unless you're taking over a contract. You don't really typically have to be any type of, have a set aside at all. So that's something that a lot of people will go into if they don't have their certifications yet either. So prime contracting versus subcontracting, there's a big difference when it comes to who pays you, but really it ensuring that you are doing your business the way that you're supposed to do your business and you're delivering on whatever it is that you're supposed to deliver to your prime or to the government agency or the corporate agency. So in my course, I teach about how to set up a business if you don't already have one. I talk about federal contracting, local contracting, corporate contracting, and something for my veterans based on my experience and based on experience of others that I know that are in the industry. So until next time,